Booyah. Thanks, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My bad. Where's everyone joining from this morning? Should have me now. Should have me now. Nice. Yeah, NY. Vancouver. Love my Canadians. Switzerland. Nice, man. Canada. Michigan. All over the place. I love it. Portugal. It's my place, man. Used to live there. Cool. Well, let's get straight into it. I don't want to waste too much time this morning. As always, it's a new week. It's Monday. Monday mornings in particularly, I like to let things shake out. All right. Not to mention Friday and last week, theme of the week was bottom bouncers. We had our AGRIs, which I had a phenomenal, not a phenomenal, but I had a decent Friday with. If you missed Friday's live stream, it should be under the lives here somewhere. I would go check that one out when we're done or whenever you're done trading today. Bit of ranting, bit of live trading. I go through my process of my scan and how to find sympathy plays in a very basic fashion, but we do go through it and a little bit more specific than we normally do during these pre-market preps, you know, where we only have about 30 minutes or so. All right, let's get going. So I'm going to go through quickly for those who are new, never been with me, the way I scan pre-market in the mornings. All right. People think I'm just scanning for small cap stocks and stuff like that. I don't. I scan for whatever the most volatile stocks today are going to be. That's all I care about. And my whole process is built around finding whichever stocks are going to be the most volatile. And then hopefully narrowing those down to the couple few that I'm able to take advantage of or not. That being said, here are my parameters for morning scans pre-market. I have no price range. I have no dollar change. I'll set it at 5% change, $50,000 volume. That's like nothing, y'all. All right. I do it on purpose. I've always done this pre-market, not always, but as I got better and better, I realized, wow, I just want to see more and more. Get my eyes to certain places first. It doesn't mean I'm trading liquid stocks, but it does mean my eyes are going to be on every single runner before everyone else. I realized that quite early on. If I could do that, it gives me time. You know, by the time a lot of people see stocks hitting their scans with volume, by the time that happens, I've seen them usually already early because of that low dollar volume requirement. So I do that. I will change it throughout the day. You know, I'll change it sometimes even pre-market. If there's too much and we have too much craziness going on, I'll switch it to $250,000 volume. Why do I use dollar volume? For me, it's always been a little bit easier to picture how much money's going through a stock as opposed to shares. Okay. If it's just a crap ton of shares of a 10-cent stock, it's not as much money and actual liquidity as you would think. As if it were the same amount of volume going through on like a $10 stock. That's quite a bit more dollar volume. And it's always worked really well for me in terms of what I'm looking for. So I'm going to switch it back quickly. If you guys have any questions throughout, just let me know. I'll try to get to them. Try to keep an eye on them. Anyways, that's all I do. So you can see I'm not just scanning for small cap. I've never just wanted to be a small cap trader or mid cap trader. It's been more so they are just usually the most volatile from a percentage standpoint. And then at the same time, I get to take more shares because they're cheaper and they're going to move a bigger percent, bigger bang for my buck. That's how I've always felt. And I still feel that way. Definitely more risky, but I'm not an investor, right? I'm a day trader. I'm looking for stocks that have range and or good volatility percentage wise, and then take advantage of that percentage, right? So Works is our top percent gainer. Let's just go right through our scan quickly. Works. Float says 14. I don't see any news here this morning. I don't know about y'all. Looks like just this morning's bottom bouncer. All right. Kind of the remnants of last week's. Last week, all we saw were 10-cent stocks going to 30 cents, 20 cents. That's it. But on Friday in particular, we saw a bunch of them pop off. And I was thinking to myself, that's usually kind of the end of a pattern, okay? And that's something you guys really have to understand. These things, especially to the long side, we have to adapt. We have to constantly be understanding these patterns are moving, man. It's a moving target. It's what makes trading so difficult. It's not just I learned this strategy or I learned this pattern and I get to do it every day. There are some patterns and strategies I'm trading right now that I haven't traded since 2018-19. Okay. So things are very, very, very cyclical. And that is another part that makes it really tough for y'all to learn is like you may be trying to learn a pattern. And the second that you're starting to get a grip on it, that pattern shifts or goes away completely for a while. And then you're like, oh, this sucks. Trading sucks. No, man, you got to have the right perspective and patience in this game. And then understand that these things that come in out of play, you also have to be moderating the way you trade and which strats you're pressing or not pressing at the time. Can I have a chocolate milk? Okay. So works every time I get to these. Okay, I'm going to say, what's the float? Market cap. Percent change. What's the dollar volume? What's the price, right? And when I look at my scan in the morning, particularly with what's trading any sort of volume, let's switch to 250 just to narrow it down a bit this morning for y'all. $250,000 volume is still very, very low, okay? Especially compared to how a lot of people trade and scan. So we've got works. We've got a 30-cent stock, 20-cent stock, $5 stock, 40, another 30-cent stock. Last week's theme was 10-cent, 20-cent stocks. I can tell you already that there is some sort of shift on my scan this morning. I see Bitcoin stocks, right? Hut, Riot, Mara, just off the top of my head. I believe all three. Well, I know those are. I don't know about Hut. Pretty sure Hut is. I think Wolf is a Bitcoin stock. BitX. TCON maybe even. No, healthcare, biotech. Okay. So when I'm looking at my scan, I'm looking for themes, right? I'm looking for themes. I see some Bitcoin stocks, not up a ton. Our top percent gainers works, rando bottom bouncer, 20 cents, already getting up to 30 cents. Has some resistance here in the 40-cent range, 40, 55-cent range, 40, 45-cent range, I'm sorry. On a little bit bigger volume here. Yeah, you can see they just kind of gap 20 to 38 cents. I really don't see a PR. Maybe one of y'all have a PR for it, but I just don't see it. So, not too much there that I can really tell as to what's going on. Going to be running into some overhead. We'll have to hit the filings for that quickly. TTOO, oldie but goodie, fat old float on TTOO. Looks like they're holding support on the daily chart, right? The TTOO is another one of these that went from 10 cents. I'm sorry, 5 cents, 5 to 18, held 8, got to 45, got to 70, man. Another one of these ones, okay? And this is what I've been trying to tell people. When people dog on small cap and they dog on, especially these bargain bin ones, yes, they're shit. They're the worst dilutive pieces of shit stocks on the planet. Right? We talk about this all the time, but they can go 1,500%. They can go 700%, you know, it takes a little while on these bottom bouncers because of the dilutive nature, but we've been seeing them set up for multi-day breakouts and stuff like that. Right? Particularly when you get good multi-day moves with volume in the beginning and then volume sustains, we've been seeing them do good multi-day moves, multi-week throughout the whole month. Right? They fell to S3 on Friday. Nice. Thank you. We are going to hit some filings in a second. So T2, first I'm just hitting daily charts, and then I'll hit the filings. I can tell you these guys are dilutive, but what we're seeing on bottom bouncers that get volume and run for multiple days is that they set up for multi-day breakouts. So when they pull all the way back to lows after they've traded huge volume, it's worth keeping an eye on these things for potential swing trades, you guys. That being said, a lot of them are also going to be doing splits, so you have to know which ones are going to be doing splits and when, right? We have to watch which ones are going to be doing splits and when. If you look at our tickers like VERB, this is a great example. Well, it's not. This one went 70 to 330 to 1. Oh, that was AREB in those ones. Last week's. Someone remind me last week's. It was a long-ass night with the kiddos, y'all. They would not sleep. My baby girl would not sleep last night. Lord. Okay. Eyes on the... SQL did a split on the 31st of August of 1 for 40. It looks like they spiked on their split day for some stupid reason. Dropped. It's a micro float, looks like. We'll have to go through some filings there quickly. On the 15th, they announced cash and stock dividend record date. That's it, on the 15th. That's verb. Sorry. Let me get you guys to... Okay. Weird. Try to get this chart to you guys here. There you go. So you can see they did the split here on August 31st. Big fade like they're supposed to do. I don't like playing splits at spike day one. I don't really like playing splits that are higher priced either too often. I find these 10, when they do hold 9, 10, they can go parabolic, but they also have a long ways down to a buck, which is the whole point of when I'm playing reverse splits. It's not just that they're low floats, it's that they've got a floor of $1. That's why they do reverse splits, so that they can maintain compliance, because they're trading under $1 for too long, and NASDAQ's going to delist them, for those who don't know, right? And I see the floor as $1 there. That's what they're trying to hold. So either way, a ticker like this, micro floats, I tend to stay away from them. I find them to be gambling. This thing's up from $13 to $20 already. Already hit 30. Could it go? Totally can do funky things. These things halt and get funky right out the gate. The only ideas for me personally, from a technical analysis standpoint, would be some sort of big pull in the morning, something towards 17, 16, 15, 17, something like that. And I don't love it. Spread's huge, very, very hard to control risk reward, very easy to get stopped out. If I do play higher priced, lower float, or micro floats in general, unless my entry is just phenomenal somehow and I have a good swing position or something like that, I size way down if I dabble in them at all. I'd rather not. That being said, if SQL for some reason goes nuts, it may tip me on to what I need to be doing this week. Monday mornings, especially. As always, for those who join me on Monday mornings, I like to let things shake out a lot in the morning. 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes on Monday mornings and let the patterns emerge. You saw last week, if you waited on Monday for a little bit, the patterns emerged for you, and then you could have hit bottom bouncers all week long. On Monday morning, that showed us what was going on, right? So that's the idea there. Behind that, at least for me. On Monday mornings, I really like to let things shake. Most noobs come to Monday morning just ready to press buttons, man. And why do I say that? Because that was me. I fucking hated the weekends back in the day, y'all. Fucking hated them. You know? I couldn't wait till Monday morning to chase something and lose. You know? The better I got, the longer I waited. The better I've gotten, the longer I wait anyways. It's kind of funny like that. I went from just chasing PRs and chasing things pre-market to chasing morning spikes to chasing high day breaks to chasing pre-market high breaks to just waiting patiently for support to form or show itself or for better levels to set up and for good risk reward to set up. When I'm looking at something trading under VWAP, this far under VWAP, and I'm looking at pools to like 17, 18, or if this was $7 or $8 or wherever else the price may be here, I'm trying to find that VWAP as basically my first target or high a day, whichever's below. So if I'm trading 18, 17, I got to get VWAP's going to open at around $22, $23. That's going to be my first target, right? So I'm dip buying, looking to those targets, and I have to get good risk reward to that area. I won't likely be trading SQL. We've got AVGR and reverse split pump straight up here, all right? AVGR's straight up a reverse split pump, all right? They just hit my scan. They PR'd at 8, so that's an hour and 20 minutes ago. They did a split. Just so you guys can see, this is reverse split pump, all right? They did a split 3 days ago, 1 for 15. That brought their float under a mil. They've dropped from 550 to 413 over the span of 3 days, and then they split on day 4, and then they put out a PR day 4. They're already gapping to 575. They're already gapping over the split level, okay? My game lately's not been so much to be buying this day, to be honest. Once they get over the split level and go parabolic, I haven't been playing them. I will keep eyes on this morning. It's not up too much post-split. It is up 40% from their 413 close on Friday. Okay. So on something like this, I would watch like a gap and crap reversal. 550 would be the first level I'll watch. I'd rather see it down towards 5 though. Again, VWAP would become target. High a day would become my first target. Then I'd probably use 625-ish as a target, then 7. I'd keep it really simple on this. Okay. Keep it really, really simple on something like AVGR. I also know that they're, over time, I remember them being very, very dilutive. You know, they did a split. Always look back and see splits and see how they react. They did a split, they dropped and popped back in March of last year already. And then they did this split here now. So I wouldn't expect too much from it, but it is a reverse split. It is microflow. It could do whatever the hell it wants, right? So let's keep that there. Do I have problems with SQL or AVGR on locate shares? I'm not locating shares. I don't short sell, y'all. I'm a long bias trader. I have shorted in the past, but I've really settled into longing. I don't, you know, at some point I'll do some more shorting. I plan on doing a lot of things, y'all, with my, you know, trading at some point. But for now, this is where I like to be. It's what I know best. And the truth is, I should probably be long a little bit. It's hard to say. I don't, again, my game on splits lately, on reverse splits, has been swing trading. That has been my game. If I can, I try to buy or build positions on the fade. They can continue to fade, which is why I usually like to see a little bit of support forming on the daily first before I start rocking them or building positions, okay, for swing trades. That's been my game for quite a while now, taking advantage of the fact that people just try to buy the split now. And they get kind of crowded, but nice little push off 550. Nice little push off 550. Got some higher lows forming here. And now the chart's changing, y'all. 7 minutes into market open. All right. Now the chart's changing. Let me just keep an eye on the scan. We got UPTID, UPTD, RDHL. Announces FDA, SNDA approval. For supplemental new drug application. It's not an FDA approval. It's a supplemental new drug application. But still possibly worth a watch as well. Not too much going on. I think if they, maybe you get a buck hold, they've got some decent support in 80 cents here. Never really traded big volume. When volume does come in, they do like to move a little bit at least. They did a split back in March. Also maybe worth a watch if this thing can hold this area pretty much. And if it can hold a buck, then maybe we'll see a push on RDHL as well. UPDD, another one of these micro floats, kind of wacky. Went from 750 to 1450 last Thursday, I believe. On this day. Had a first green day yet. Had this big move before, so that's kind of an ignore for me. If it goes, it goes. SQL, same thing. If it goes, it goes. These micro floats. COSM's on the scan this morning. Yeah, they had that pull and then big push last week. They've been holding. Went $1.50. Definitely a breakout looking chart here. One of these multi-day breakout type areas here on COSM. Maybe worth a watch. Y'all know I don't like breakouts at all, but right now I don't hate breakouts, and I'll be trying them if there are certain breakouts that form. Particularly these bottom bouncers that are going from 10 to 30 to 50 to 70 to a buck. Just know that the final game on those things is they're going to do a reverse split. They're going to do a reverse split straight up. That's what's going to happen. At some point. Okay. Four minutes till market open. Little reject at 650 there on AVGR for now. I'll have eyes on AVGR for a potential single at some point. It does suck. They got up to 650 there. Again, I would rather them have seen them just be a little bit weak. You know, that was the biggest volume of the day here on these candles, on these three candles. All right. Interesting. 3 minutes till market open. Any questions, y'all, at home? Any questions? Michael asks, will I look for the next reverse split pump later today for a gap overnight? Yeah, we'll see how they set up into the afternoon. I'm still watching them for morning plays, too. I'm watching these for pools towards some sort of support, but AVGR looks pretty strong as of now. I'm going to let it shake for 5, 10, 15 minutes on AVGR. If I work it, I'm going to work 550 or 5 pretty much. And anything below that, I'll keep eyes on. But that's my plan. If it just morning spikes, then it morning spikes. Then I'm looking to see if we're going to get huge volume, you know, algo driven type volume this morning there. We'll see what happens. I'm going to let these things shake, though, for 10, 15 minutes this morning. Look for good risk reward opportunities. If they don't present, I sit on my hands this morning. It's that simple. What makes me pick one gapper over another for gap and crap reversal? They all start to look the same. Yeah, everything that we talk about prior to it. The daily chart, the float, the markets at the moment, the patterns that are happening at the moment, the fundamentals, the filings, all of that stuff is what comes into play. Excuse me. Overall markets come into play, you know. Had a really, if you look at the overall markets, this is NASDAQ, this is the Qs ETF, but pretty rough day on Friday across the markets, SPY and whatnot, everything else. We are gapping down slightly for now. So all of that stuff is what goes into that for me. Only a few minutes and I have to get to the pack where we're going to the Wolf Pack, where we go live every morning. I live trade every single day in there. If you want to join the Discord or for my one-on-ones, that's what that QR code is in the bottom corner. 20 off, I think, is the code for 20% off or something like that. So that's where I'll be. Definitely going to watch AVGR out the gate today. Have eyes on SQL. I'm not going to trade it. I just want to see if that's going to be kind of the theme of the week. If we're getting into reverse splits this week, higher price splits and stuff like that, then that's fine. In which case, you know, I'll hit DT anyways. I just want to check AVGR before we get into it. High risk, 2253, 2253. 15 cents. Anyways, I'll go here. I'll check out splits and stuff like that. And see what's going on if splits get going today. Work straight spike out the gate. Nope, it's locked in, I believe. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for pre-market prep this morning. I have to get to my students now. Thank you so much for joining me again. When you guys get some time, I would definitely watch Friday's live stream, as you get a lot more process there. I go through pre-market process, show you how I like to lock in a strength, talk about sector momentum, talk about finding plays and stuff like that. And that's it. Hey, if y'all want to come see me in person, I'll be in Chicago in 2 weeks, week and a half, 28th to 29th in Chicago. Just hit rwtrades.com. After that, Vegas, the 28th to 29th of October. And then November 2nd to 3rd will be San Fran. So if anyone wants to come see me in person, those things are game changers, man. I can't tell you. I've been doing it for years and it's my absolute favorite thing. And I would definitely come see me in person if you get a chance. So if not, we'll catch you guys in pack. Pack students, I'll catch you guys in the Wolf stage and Discord for live webinar. Thanks for joining me. Everyone stay safe. I will catch you guys this week. Patience, discipline. Let's go.